Let me close with this. We're a serious moment in our nation history, and it's not I mean it from the bottom of my heart. As I said last week, we remain in the battle for the soul of America. By the way, all right, God love you. Let him go. Let him go. No, 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 no.
Breaking news, new information has been released on Social Security. The Biden administration and lawmakers are working together on Social Security reform. In just a few days, checks worth up to $1,700 will be sent out to eligible seniors. And now, supplemental security income beneficiaries will get 2 checks in September for a maximum sum of $1,700. But the second check is no reason to celebrate, as it's not extra money. In months where bank or holidays occur, that pushes up the distribution date for payments. In October, SSI beneficiaries will get no payment. The maximum check is $841 in 2022 for eligible individuals for this federal program, which provides support to disabled, blind, and elderly people who have little to no income. The average monthly benefit is $624. Managing money for the 8 million beneficiaries who rely on SSI benefits can be difficult. That's because they face strict asset and income rules, many of which have not been updated since the program was created in 1972. According to research, most of the program's beneficiaries are within 150% of the federal poverty level. Because some states may supplement SSI, that may help some beneficiaries get above the federal poverty line. According to Richard Johnson, SSI just provides a bare bones support for older people and people with disabilities, and it really highlights how little support we provide for most valuable Americans. SSI benefits are long overdue for an upgrade that could be posted to change as Washington lawmakers show an increased interest in updating the program. This spring, the 2 U.S. senators from Ohio introduced a bill that will let beneficiaries set more money aside without jeopardizing their eligibility for benefits. The proposal has also drawn co-sponsors from both sides of the aisle, including Ron Wyden. Advocates hope it will be just a first step toward modernizing the program. SSI beneficiaries are currently subject to a $2,000 asset cap for individuals and $3,000 for couples. The Social Security Administration calls this a resource limit, which includes assets a person owns that can be turned into cash, like bank accounts, stock, bonds, or other property. Brown and Portman's bill seeks to raise those limits, which have not changed since 1984, to $10,000 for individuals and $20,000 for couples. The bill would also index those caps to inflation, so they would be adjusted annually. And for now, SSI beneficiaries can count on the fact that the 2 checks they receive in September will not push them above that $2,000 asset threshold. In addition to asset limits, SSI beneficiaries also face restrictions on how much income they can earn before the benefits are reduced. Beneficiaries can have up to $20 in unearned income per month, and their first $65 in earnings are exempt from the program's rules.
No, don't let him go. Let him. Look, everybody's entitled to be an idiot. No, everybody's entitled. And pro-democracy. So when I say the democracy is at stake, I mean what I'm saying, literally. You can't say you support law enforcement if you go home this afternoon, turn on the television, and saw several thousand people storming the British Parliament, knocking down the doors, threatening their lives, trying to overthrow the election of the new Prime Minister, and people dying. What would you think? No, I'm being deadly earnest now. Honest to God, what would you think? You'd think this is not a democracy. Well, let me tell you something. This is why in this moment, those of you in this country, Democrats, Republicans, and mainstream Republicans and independents, we have to be stronger and more determined and more committed to saving America.
Good morning. My name is Christopher Lamont. I am the Deputy Assistant Secretary of State for Democracy, Human Rights, and Labor here at the State Department. I want to welcome everyone to the 3rd Leahy Vetting Conference, and thanks to those joining us virtually. I can say, for my part, it certainly feels like a lot longer than 3 years since we last gathered as a community in 2019. So it feels special to be back together. Let me say as well, I think it feels especially remarkable moment to have with us today 2 of our nation's most distinguished leaders in foreign policy. Senator Patrick Leahy of Vermont with us this morning. Senator, I know that this phrase is used often, but I feel confident in saying today that we literally wouldn't be here today but for you. We're so pleased to have you with us in person today. Before you deliver your keynote remarks, Senator, we're also extremely fortunate to have with us Deputy Secretary Wendy Sherman to open our conference this morning. Deputy Secretary Sherman, by my count, you have served in senior State Department leadership positions for 3 presidents and 5 secretaries of state. In between your work on nuclear disarmament, for which President Obama awarded you the National Security Medal, and your exhausting travel schedule of diplomatic engagements with our allies, with our partners, and with our adversaries. You have been a steadfast champion throughout your career for human rights. You have stood up to abusive governments. You have stood with the advocates and activists on the front lines of these fights. So I want to say how lucky we are to have you with us today and to open this year's Leahy Conference. So with that, over to you.
Thank you very much, Chris, and thank you all so much for joining us for the 2022 Leahy Law Conference. I have the very special, distinct pleasure and true honor of introducing the namesake and driving force behind this important law, the Dean of the Senate, the President pro tempore, and our dear, dear friend, Vermont Senator Patrick Leahy. I also want to extend a warm welcome to Senator Leahy's wife and partner in all things, Marcel. Thank you for joining us this morning. And also want to make note of Tim Reeser, that most of us over the years have known, who tells us what to do and when to do it. And we're very grateful for his service to the country. From the beginning of this administration, President Biden and Secretary Blinken have vowed to put human rights back at the center of the United States foreign policy. And there's a very simple reason for that. When the United States stands up for universal human rights, for the rights of people everywhere to live with dignity, to worship according to their beliefs, to think what they will, and to speak their minds without fear, to be equal in the eyes of the law, to love who they love, and to live openly as who they are, it makes our country stronger. It helps safeguard our most important values for our children and grandchildren. It makes us more stable, prosperous, and secure. And it shows the world, especially those who violate the human rights of their own citizens or claim that there's no such thing as universal human rights at all, that the United States is committed to advancing and protecting human rights in our actions, not only in our words. That's what's at the heart